right, Lee. Well, it's coming up to 2 hours now, so we're gonna start to wrap things up. But I've just got
Okay.
a bit of a Q&A segment which we run each week. So got a
Okay.
few questions from some of the fans. Mario said side effects from drug use.
Side effects: one, you might not grow muscle if you abuse it. Well, that's the thing too. If you abuse it, what's abuse? Like I said, I take small amounts, but still that could do damage. But I would never abuse it. If someone says take 1 mil, take 1 mil. It's like I was using stanozol. We used to take it every second day. Like, that seems a lot. And then I was reading the bottle one time. It says, because it's for horses, it says for a horse, 2 mil per 100 kilos every 2 weeks. I'm thinking, now if a horse only needs 2 mil per 100 kilos every 2 weeks, and I'm like 98 kilos, why am I taking fucking 1 mil every second day? So it just came down to common sense. So you can have side effects where your testicles will shrink. Your dick doesn't get smaller, people. Your testicles will shrink. That's about it. But they'll come back, hopefully, if you haven't abused it. So you just got to, if you're going to go down that road, just get your blood tests done, get your heart checked and that. But the thing is, steroids aren't that miracle drug people think they are. So, and sadly, you might get people who think they are. They'll take, like I said, 250, the proper amount, train and go, well, that didn't work. I got to take 500. 500 didn't work. No, it's not going to work because you got shit genetics. Like I said, any other thing in the world where I've got friends that play tennis, but they do it for fun. They enjoy it. They get together or they play golf. My friends that play tennis aren't like, hey, Lee, I'm going to fucking turn professional and beat Djokovic and shit like that. It's like, no, they just do it for fun. But for some reason, every fucking cockhead that goes into a gym and takes drugs thinks they're going to be Mr. fucking Olympia. It's like, you're not. It's like don't let that stop you from training, because you can still train, be healthy, cardiovascular wise or whatever. But don't think just because you're going to take drugs, you're going to go, bleh, and because you don't, oh, you must be taking more then. So it's like, no, it just doesn't happen. It's like I could run, like I said, all I want. I'm not going to be a runner or a basketball player. You just got to face the facts and, be in touch with reality when it comes to doing what you want to do. It's like, yes, people said you can do whatever you want. No, you can't. There are limitations. Like, you can try, but at least give it a shot. But if it doesn't work out, then find something else to do.
Yeah. What led your family into bodybuilding initially?
Probably me. Like I said, my grandfather did like wrestling in the army, so he was always into fitness, and so was my great grandfather. Weights and walking and skipping rope, and he could skip rope for an hour. Just be like, wow, fuck, I'd be bored shitless. So I'd be like, because I'd always laugh when he'd do that. Like he'd go some mornings when I get ready for a contest. We'd always go bike riding from Wallsend to Newcastle, probably 30 k's each way with hills and that. There was some mornings. He was probably coming up to 70 at age at the moment, and I was still young. I'm like, yes, it's raining, cold. I sleep in today, so I'm laying in bed on the window. I'm like, what? I look out, he's on the bike. Yeah, I'm like, you fucking old bastard. If he's out there, I got to go. So I always used to laugh and say, yeah, I guess stupidity runs in the family. So yeah, so then like I said, my mum just got in it due to me and stuff like that. So. But then I always said she was the smart one because she knew when to stop. She did it for a couple of years. I said, that's enough and quit. So I said, well, stupidity runs in the family, but you were smart enough to stop. I kept going.
The pros and cons of the fitness industry from back then till now. What things are good? What things are bad? What would you take?
I'd say drug use is bad because they're just like with the social media as before. We knew drugs are in the sport, but it's like I never once discussed it with other pros. Even like when Paul lived with me, we never discussed drug use because to me, I don't care what somebody's taken because what he's taken or Ronnie's taken, that's not going to work on me. That's the thing people have to understand when they want to be like, what was your cycle? Look, I could give you my exact cycle. There's food, train the same. You're not going to look like me. So I just find it a waste of time when people are so focused on the drugs and that. So to me, it was more about the training, the eating. Then, like I said, if you're going to get to that level and drugs come into it, okay, then look at it. So that's the main thing. I think just with the internet too, there's so much shit talkers on there. And like I said, people just judging us. Like, oh, look at that idiot. Look at him. I bet he does this. It's like, then you have to natty or not. It's like, who fucking cares if someone's natty or not? Focus on your fucking self. Go do what you have to do. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing because it's irrelevant. It's like, well, he's taking it. I think, who cares? It's like, stop being a little bitch about it. Oh, so you think if you took what he was taking, you'd be better than him? Yeah. It's like, okay. So, yeah. So that's the main thing is just the whole emphasis on the drugs now more than the training and the eating and that sort of thing. And then, like I said, just with the social media stuff like that, because really, when you look at it, it can be a healthy thing, just training, eating, doing cardio, living the lifestyle, sort of the other shit that comes in around it. And it could be something as, like I said, just social media, some of the negativity and shit on that, where people just talk crap about people. If you don't like that person, don't follow them. If they're happy doing what they're doing, how does that affect your daily life? Just go off and do your fucking thing. Don't worry about other people. So
Yeah, we're talking about that in episode 1 of the podcast, and it's like you get an insight into like bodybuilders' lives. You see everything they're doing, their eating, their cardio, what they look like at different intervals throughout their time coming into prep. You can always like tell. We can tell who's going to win before the show rolls around. Whereas back in the day, it was probably a completely different story.
Well, you only had the magazines back then, so you'd have to wait to see a magazine, or an old VHS video might come out of the Battle for the Olympia or something. But now it's weird too with the internet access. I always try and like a thing or that, or if they write to me in Instagram or send me a message, sometimes I try and reply back if I can, which I generally do. But then sometimes if I'm busy doing something, I might just read it. I think, okay, I'll reply later, because it can't just be a quick answer. I'll go into depth and I get a reply back. Oh, I see you read it, but you haven't got fucking time to reply back. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, I do have a life. I've got other shit to do. I'm thinking, well, now I'm not going to reply, you rude cunt. So it's like, I think, like I said, the more you put yourself out there, I think it's like anything. People just expect it straight away. Well, why don't you show this, show that, show us this? I'm like, my God, it's like I'm giving you what I can. It's like you said, you try to reply to as many as you can, but they just expect so much. I know Fuad said people are like, where's the podcast this week? It's like, he has another life and shit. It's like you're not paying him to do it. He's doing it to help, if you want to watch, you watch. So I think sometimes, like even people, you probably get it too. I have my phone on silent. I don't have notifications on, because I tell people I control my phone. It doesn't control me. So I've got people that always on it, look at every time it goes ding. Let me look at it. Let me look. It's like, so I get friends that might send me a text because it's on silent. I go back, 8 texts. Lee, what are you doing? Lee, where are you? Have I done something wrong? I'm like, fuck, I was in a movie, for fuck's sake. It's like everybody just wants this instant reply even. I'm like, fucking get over it, people. Get off your phones. Enjoy life. Go out, walk around a bit. Have a look at the fucking real world. I'll be out walking around the beach. Everyone's walking past me like this. I'm like, look at the beautiful sunrise. Like people just need to have a break from social media and their phones. I remember when I was young, I'd call people before I left the house. I'd go out for the day, come back, check the message machine. It's like, we all survived. It's okay. Don't worry, people. But you be on a plane. As soon as the plane touches down, fucking dang. Or you hear ding, 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 ding. Oh, fuck. I was on a flight from Queensland to fucking Sydney. An hour went past. What the fuck did I miss? Oh, Facebook. Oh, it's like, fuck me dead, people. Calm down. It's just so stupid that people are so addicted to their phones and social media. It's just like, there's a real world out there. Fucking enjoy it. Especially if you're with your family and kids and that. Have time away from that shit. Live in the real world for a moment.
When you're walking down the street and someone's on their phone and
I aim for him. If I see him looking down, I aim for him. I actually walk in front of him. I'm thinking if they're going to look up or not, I just keep walking.
Sonny Bill shot on.
Unbelievable. Even crossing the roads, they'll stand there. Even though the crossing goes ding and they can hear it, they don't even look up. Because even if I watch, but I still look to make sure cars have seen that I'm crossing. They're walking out on their phones. I'm like, what's so important? And like my daughter would do it too. She'll check Instagram. Not even a minute goes past, she checks it again. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know, just check it like every hour. Be surprised, It's like every notification I've got to check. Jesus, it's just nuts. I think the world's going mad when it comes to social media and stuff like that. That even some of the shit people post, it's like, okay, I guess if you're following that person, but when you see this stuff come on TikTok and stuff, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then you also one on the news this morning in America, the TikTok challenge where people are jumping off the moving boats and a couple of people have been killed going that fast. When they hit the water, they've been breaking their necks and stuff. I'm like, it's like what can I do to be outrageous and get likes?
I think that's why they've restricted TikTok, because it's actually been heaps of those movements that have actually end up people being dying.
Eating Tide Pods and stuff.
I shouldn't be laughing. It's not funny, but
well, it is, because it thins out the herd of stupid people. I think this is how we go through get rid of evolution, because if they don't die, they're going to have kids, and their kids are going to be just as fucked up. So sometimes natural selection has to take them out.
And you kind of pioneered. I think one of the reasons why a lot of people, well, not pioneered, but one of the reasons a lot of people probably look at you, and there's so many like edits of you on social media, TikTok and Instagram, is because back in the day with the magazines, you were like kind of the first athlete that really pushed for athletes to get paid for those shoots.
Yeah,
I think that's the first one. People look at the magazines.
Yeah, because I had an argument with a photographer once because I was just new over there and struggling a bit, wasn't making lots of money. I did all these photo shoots for him, like every body part all week. He's like, "Oh, Lee, unbelievable." Robert Kennedy brought all those photos of me and that. Like, what do I get? He took me to lunch. I said, "Wait a minute. So I'm the one that's built this body, all these years of training, doing whatever. You take the photos, you get paid thousands for the photos. Now the photos go in the magazines. I do an interview, the writer gets paid, the magazine gets paid because people who are my fans buy it and I get nothing." He's like, "Yeah, think of the publicity." I said, "Look, I agree. In the beginning, publicity is great, but once you're established name, it's like it'd be like saying, say when Britney Spears got that big $1 million thing for Pepsi. Imagine just Pepsi saying, 'Yes, Britney,' but mate, look at the exposure you get. It's like people know who I am by now, so it's like, how about you pay me?" So so it's just silly. So then MD started giving like $1,000 per photo shoot, but then I was signed with the magazine, so I was getting paid a monthly contract as well. But up until then, you didn't get anything, and athletes would go do it for the thing. That's what I told athletes too. Like if they say, "Hey Lee, do this photo shoot," and I say I want to be paid, they'll go, "Fuck you. I'll get Jay Cutler to do it." And if Jay goes yes, they're like, "Well, why should I pay Lee?" So if all the athletes stood together and said, "Well, you're making money. I'm the one that's done all this hard work," and be like if you went for years of law school or brain surgery. Okay, now I'm just going to go to the hospital. Who needs brain surgery? I do it for free. Anyone? It's like, come on, you put all that hard work into it. Everyone else is making money, but the person who's actually done that hard work and stuff, it's like.
So last question we've got is and this could be taken the wrong way. So obviously
I'll take it both ways and give an answer for both things.
Does race really have an effect on your potential in bodybuilding? There is research that shows that African Americans, for instance, have a greater proportion of those fast twitch muscle fibers. But you find
there's been a lot of good black bodybuilders. Or you see some that genetically have the good makeup, and then to me, it's like now I just hate people when they say Australia's racist or America's racist. It's like, then why do all these minorities want to come here to Australia or to America? And then you'll have Australians or Americans. All these people come here and take our jobs and this and that. I'm like, well, that's because you're sitting back, you take for granted. Like these people have actually come from countries that have nothing, come to Australia or America and see these great opportunities, and they get down and do it and get these great jobs. When we're born here, we just take it for granted and become lazy. And there's no fucking, like I said, I don't really know any racist people. I've had people look at me weird. I'm like, oh, tattoo on the face. They think I'm a bikie drug dealer and stuff like that. So,
what does the
like,
tattoo
we all
represent?
we all nothing at all.
Okay.
It represents I'm stupid, but I just like I said, people just need to calm down. It's like I said, I take people how I find them. I judge people on character, not on their race or religion or anything like that. So I think, but like I said, when you watch the media today, the media just loves causing divide in everything. And like I said, the race card's so easy to throw out there. Or now with all these pronouns coming in the things in America where men can have babies and periods. No, you can't. You can't have a baby and a period if you're a man. But if you say that, you're transphobic. No, I'm just living in the fucking real world, dickhead. Men can't have babies. That's simple. Oh, Lee, you can't say that. I'm like, oh, fuck it. Let's go back to that Monty Python skit where on The Life of Brian, I want to have a baby. And like, you want to what? I want to have a baby. Reg, you can't have a baby. Don't you tell me I can't have a baby. Where are you going to keep the fetus? In a box? It's like that's what it's going back to. It's just like, fuck. It's just like, look, you be what you want to be. As long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't care. But don't try and make out that men can have periods and babies when we can't. It's like, or they ask that question, what is a woman? And half the people can't answer it. I'm like, oh. It's like, that's why this city council is going to be funny. That local council show we did, we had to go in there's a few scenes in the TV show where the guy who works in the office in the council is a woman one day, and the next day he wants to be a furry and comes to work in a cat suit. So